Your mind won't stop. The thoughts keep coming, one after another, and you're exhausted from trying to quiet them. You've been carrying tension in your body for so long you've forgotten what relaxation actually feels like. In the next 3 hours, that changes. The Buddha identified 5 specific things that create this mental noise. 5 patterns running in the background of your mind right now, generating the restlessness, the frustration, the exhaustion, and he taught exact methods for stopping each one. Not managing them, stopping them. Here's what happens when you understand these 5 patterns. The constant reaching for the next thing begins to quiet. The anger that's been burning in your chest starts to cool. The heaviness that makes everything feel impossible lifts. The racing thoughts slow down. The doubt that nothing will ever work dissolves. This isn't theory. 25 centuries of people have used these exact teachings to find the peace you're looking for right now. The Buddha used water to explain it. 5 bowls sitting in a row, each one disturbed by something different. Dye clouds the first, heat makes the second boil, moss covers the third, mud churns through the fourth, wind ripples the fifth. You can't see clearly through any of them. But here's what matters. The moment you remove what's disturbing the water, it begins to clear. Not after hours of meditation, not after you become a different person. Immediately. Stop heating water, and it cools. Stop stirring mud, and it settles. Your mind works the same way. Over these 3 hours, you'll feel this happening. The first pattern you'll recognize is probably active right now. It's the one that keeps you searching for the next thing that might finally bring satisfaction. You'll learn why it appears, what feeds it, and what makes it disappear. Then the second pattern, the heat of anger and frustration. You'll learn 5 specific ways the Buddha taught to extinguish it. Methods that work whether you've been angry for 5 minutes or 5 years. Then the fog, the racing mind, the doubt. One by one, you'll understand what creates each pattern and what dissolves it. By the end, you'll know your own mind in a way you don't right now. And that knowledge itself brings peace. Get comfortable. Lower the lights. Let your body sink into whatever surface is supporting you. Take one slow breath right now. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Feel that. That's the beginning of what these 3 hours will bring. If you'd like, share where you're listening from in the comments. Thousands of people around the world are finding this same relief tonight. The first obstacle is the endless reaching, and it has a simple cause. The first bowl sits in front of you, filled with water. Someone pours bright dye into it. Deep blues, vivid reds, brilliant yellows. The water becomes beautiful, almost mesmerizing. But you can't see through it anymore. You can't see your own reflection. The dye has made it impossible to see what's actually there. This is what the Buddha called the first hindrance. In the old texts, they used a word that means craving for sense pleasures. But that translation misses something important. This isn't just about pleasure. It's about the constant reaching. You know this feeling. You're sitting quietly, and suddenly your hand reaches for your phone. You're trying to focus, and your mind starts thinking about food. You finish one thing, and immediately you're looking for the next thing. The reaching never stops. You scroll through social media looking for something, though you don't know what. You open the refrigerator, even though you're not hungry. You buy things you don't need. You start conversations you don't want to have. You make plans you won't enjoy. All because something inside keeps saying, the next thing will satisfy you. The next image, the next taste, the next sound, the next touch, the next thought. Just one more, and then you'll finally rest. But you never do. The Buddha taught about this in a way that's surprisingly modern. He said there are three things to understand about any desire: its gratification, its danger, and the escape from it. The gratification is real. That's important to understand. The Buddha never said pleasure doesn't exist or that enjoyment is wrong. When you taste something delicious, there's real pleasure. When you see something beautiful, there's real joy. When you hear music you love, something genuine happens. The problem isn't the pleasure. The problem is what happens next. You taste something delicious, and immediately your mind wants more. You see something beautiful, and you want to possess it. You hear music you love, and you can't just enjoy it. You have to capture it, save it, own it somehow. The gratification lasts maybe 3 seconds. The craving lasts for hours. The Buddha said it plainly. In the enjoyment of sense pleasures, there is so little sweetness and so much bitterness. So little benefit and such great potential for suffering. Think about the last time you craved something intensely. Maybe it was food, maybe a purchase, maybe someone's attention. How long did the wanting last? Hours, maybe days. How long did the satisfaction last after you got it? Usually minutes, sometimes less. And then the reaching started again. This is what the Buddha meant by danger. Not that pleasure is evil, or that you should never enjoy anything, but that this constant reaching, this endless craving, creates enormous suffering for such tiny moments of satisfaction. You spend 45 minutes deciding what to watch, then enjoy about 3 minutes of the show before your mind starts wandering. You spend an hour shopping online for something that brings 30 seconds of excitement when it arrives. You spend days thinking about a meal that you consume in 15 minutes without really tasting. The math doesn't work. The suffering of craving far outweighs the pleasure of satisfaction. And there's something else, something more subtle. When you're constantly reaching for the next pleasant experience, you can't be present for this one. When your mind is always looking ahead to what might satisfy it, it misses what's actually happening right now. You're eating dinner while thinking about dessert. You're in a conversation while thinking about checking your phone. You're walking outside while planning what you'll do when you get home. The reaching itself prevents satisfaction. In our modern world, this pattern has become weaponized. Entire industries exist to trigger the reaching, to activate craving, and keep it burning. Every advertisement is designed to make you feel that satisfaction is just one purchase away. Every app notification is engineered to pull your attention, to create that reaching response. Your phone buzzes and your hand moves before you decide to move it. You see a headline designed to provoke curiosity, and you click before you choose to click. You watch one video and the next one autoplays, and you keep watching not because you're enjoying it, but because stopping requires effort. The reaching has become automatic, unconscious, a reflex, and the cost is enormous. You can spend entire evenings scrolling without experiencing a single moment of genuine satisfaction. You can consume entertainment for hours without feeling entertained. You can chase pleasure all day and end the day feeling empty. This is the danger the Buddha warned about, amplified by technology that didn't exist in his time, but that operates on the same principle. Trigger craving, provide momentary satisfaction, trigger more craving. The Buddha gave a teaching about cloth and dye that explains this perfectly. He said if you have a dirty cloth and you try to dye it, the dye won't take properly. The cloth will be impure in color. But if the cloth is clean first, then the dye creates something beautiful. Your mind is the cloth. When it's stained with craving, with constant reaching, nothing satisfies properly. Even genuine pleasure becomes distorted. You can't enjoy a meal because you're already thinking about the next bite. You can't appreciate music because you're wondering what song to play next. You can't rest in a peaceful moment because you're looking for something more exciting. The craving itself ruins the pleasure it's seeking. So what's the escape? Not suppression. The Buddha was very clear about this. The escape isn't pretending you don't want anything or forcing yourself to reject every pleasure. The escape is understanding. There's a crucial difference between healthy enjoyment and craving. Enjoyment is present with what's here. Craving is reaching for what's not here, or trying to hold on to what's passing. When you eat something delicious with enjoyment, you taste it. You're present for the flavor, the texture, the experience. When it's gone, it's gone. No grasping. When you eat with craving, you're barely tasting. You're thinking about the next bite, while this bite is still in your mouth. You're trying to make the pleasure last longer, be more intense. You're already sad that it will end before it's even finished. Same food, completely different experience. The Buddha taught that the body knows the difference. Craving creates tension. There's a physical tightening, a sense of lack, an urgency. You can feel it in your chest, your throat, your hands. Enjoyment without craving feels open. There's ease in the body. Breathing stays natural. No urgency, no grasping. Pay attention to this difference. The next time you want something, notice what it feels like in your body. Where's the tension? Where's the tightness? Then notice what it feels like when you're simply enjoying something without wanting it to be different or last forever. Feel the difference in your body. This isn't abstract philosophy. This is direct experience you can verify right now. There's a teaching in the old texts about guarding the senses. For centuries, people misunderstood it as meaning you should shut down your senses, withdraw from the world, avoid seeing or hearing or tasting anything that might be pleasant. But that's not what the Buddha taught. He talked about something called the sign and the particulars. When you see something with your eyes, the first bare moment of seeing is just data. Light hitting the retina, no problem there. Then your mind does something. It grasps at the sign, the general appearance of what you saw. Then it starts exploring the particulars, the details, the features, everything that makes this thing attractive or repulsive. That's when craving begins. You see food, and the first instant is just visual information. Then your mind grabs onto the appearance. Oh, that's chocolate cake. Then it starts elaborating. Rich, sweet, would taste good. I want that. When can I have it? Maybe after dinner, or maybe now. Why wait? All of that happens in maybe 2 seconds. And now you're caught. The same thing happens with every sense. You hear a sound, and the first moment is just vibration in the ear. Then your mind identifies it. That's my phone notification. Then it elaborates. Someone messaged me. I wonder who. Maybe it's important. I should check. I need to check. Where's my phone? You smell something. You taste something. You feel a texture. You think a thought. Every time, the same pattern. First the bare sensation, then the grasping, then the elaboration, then the craving. Guarding the senses means interrupting this pattern, not by closing your eyes or plugging your ears, by being aware of the grasping when it happens. You see the chocolate cake. You notice your mind grasping at it. You feel the pull of wanting. And right there, in that moment of awareness, something loosens. You don't have to act on it. You don't have to push it away. You just see it clearly. This is craving arising. And when you see it clearly, it doesn't control you the same way. This takes practice. Your mind has been grasping automatically for your entire life. Decades of reaching for pleasant experiences and pushing away unpleasant ones. It's a deeply ingrained habit. But habits can be seen, and once seen, they start to weaken. The Buddha taught that when you guard your senses this way, when you remain aware and don't let the mind grasp and elaborate, harmful states simply don't arise. Not because you're suppressing them, because the condition for their arising isn't present anymore. Think of it like fire. Fire needs fuel to burn. Take away the fuel, and the fire goes out. You don't have to fight the fire or push it away. Just stop adding wood to it. Craving needs grasping to survive. Your mind grabs onto pleasant experiences, elaborates on them, builds fantasies around them, and craving burns hotter and hotter. Stop the grasping, and the craving dies down naturally. Here's what this looks like in daily life. You're walking past a bakery. You smell fresh bread. Instantly, your mind grabs at it. That smells good. I want bread. Warm bread with butter. When did I last have fresh bread? Maybe I should go in. Normally, you'd either act on this immediately or spend the next 10 minutes thinking about bread while fighting the desire. Both options are exhausting. But if you're aware, you can notice the grasping as it happens. Oh, mind is grabbing at this smell. There's wanting arising, and you just observe it. You don't judge it as bad. You don't try to make it go away. You just see it clearly. This is what craving feels like in the body. And something interesting happens. The craving might stay for a few moments, but it doesn't intensify. It doesn't build into an obsession, because you're not feeding it with elaboration and fantasy. Within 30 seconds, you've walked past the bakery and the smell is gone. The craving fades because its fuel is gone. Your mind hasn't been hijacked. You're still present, still at ease. This is guarding the senses, not withdrawal, awareness. The same principle applies to every sense experience throughout your day. You see an advertisement designed to trigger wanting. You notice the wanting arise instead of being swept into it. You hear music that makes you crave a particular mood or memory. You observe the craving instead of chasing it. You taste something pleasant. You enjoy it without immediately wanting more. Each time you do this, the pattern weakens slightly. The automatic grasping loses a little bit of its power. The reaching becomes less compulsive. And something else emerges. A different kind of pleasure. The Buddha talked about this too. He said there's the pleasure of sense experience, and there's the pleasure of renunciation. People usually hear renunciation and think of grim self-denial, but that's not what he meant. The pleasure of renunciation is the relief of not wanting. Think about a time when you wanted something desperately, then genuinely let it go. Not forced yourself to give up, but actually released the wanting. Remember that feeling? There's a lightness there, a spaciousness, a sense of freedom. That's the pleasure the Buddha was pointing to. It's not the pleasure of getting what you want. It's the pleasure of not being driven by want. When you're not constantly reaching for the next pleasant experience, you can actually be present for this one. When you're not trying to hold on to pleasure or make it last forever, you can enjoy it while it's here. When you're not craving what you don't have, you can appreciate what you do have. This is a completely different way of experiencing pleasure. Imagine eating a meal without once thinking about the next bite, just tasting what's in your mouth, fully present for the texture, the temperature, the flavor, not grabbing, not reaching, not wanting it to be different, or last longer, or be more intense, just experiencing it. That meal becomes satisfying in a way that craving-driven eating never is. Or imagine sitting in a beautiful place without once thinking about capturing it for social media, not reaching for your phone, not trying to preserve the moment or prove you were there, just being there, seeing what's in front of you, hearing the sounds, feeling the temperature of the air. Without the constant reaching, there's actually more pleasure, not less. This affects how you relate to people too. When you're with someone and your mind isn't reaching for something more interesting, you can actually listen. When you're not using the conversation as stimulation, or distraction, or validation, you can connect. When you're not craving the person to be different, or say different things, you can appreciate who they actually are. Relationships become simpler, not in the sense of shallow, but in the sense of direct. You're not constantly negotiating between what you want from someone and what they're actually offering. You're just present with them. And people feel this. They can sense when you're truly present versus when you're using them to satisfy some craving for attention or validation or distraction. The quality of connection changes entirely. The Buddha called this the escape from sense desire, understanding its gratification. Yes, pleasure is real. Understanding its danger, the craving causes far more suffering than the pleasure is worth. And understanding the escape, awareness that sees craving clearly and doesn't feed it. When you practice this, the first hindrance starts to lose its grip. The dye in the water begins to clear. You start to see your own reflection again. Not all at once. This isn't a technique you do once and suddenly you're free forever. The pattern of grasping runs deep. It's been your default mode for decades. But every time you notice the reaching and don't act on it automatically, something shifts. Every time you see craving arise and observe it instead of being controlled by it, the pattern weakens. Every time you experience something pleasant without immediately wanting more, you train your mind in a different way of being. Gradually, the constant reaching quiets down. You can sit still without your hand automatically going to your phone. You can finish a meal without immediately thinking about the next meal. You can enjoy something without needing to possess it or make it last forever. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop enjoying life. Actually, the opposite happens. When you're not driven by craving, you make better choices. You choose things because they genuinely bring well-being, not because your mind is hijacked by temporary wanting. You eat when you're actually hungry, not because food offers temporary comfort from discomfort. You connect with people because you value the connection, not because you're craving validation or distraction. Life becomes simpler, not in the sense of having less, but in the sense of needing less. The Buddha taught that someone free from sense desire experiences a particular kind of peace. Not the peace of getting everything you want, the peace of not being controlled, by wanting. You can taste this peace right now. Notice what you're wanting in this moment. Maybe you want this content to hurry up and get to something more interesting. Maybe you want a snack or a drink. Maybe you want to check your phone. Maybe you want to be somewhere else doing something else. Just notice the wanting. Don't judge it. Don't try to stop it. Just observe. This is what wanting feels like. Where do you feel it in your body? Is there tension, restlessness, a pulling sensation? Just observe. And notice what happens if you don't act on it. If you just let it be there, seen clearly, without feeding it with elaboration or fantasy. It might get stronger for a moment. That's normal. The mind isn't used to having its wanting observed instead of obeyed. But if you keep observing without grasping, something shifts. The wanting doesn't disappear immediately, but it stops intensifying. It peaks, then gradually begins to fade. And in the space where the wanting was, there's ease. Not the ease of satisfaction, the ease of freedom. This is what the Buddha meant by removing the first hindrance. Not through force or suppression, through understanding and awareness. The water in the first bowl is still there, but the dye is clearing. You can start to see through it. You can start to see your own mind reflected back, undistorted by constant craving. And this changes everything about how you move through your day. You walk past a store and see something you like, and instead of that immediate pull to go in and buy it, there's just seeing. Oh, that's attractive. And you keep walking. No struggle. No battle with desire, just awareness and freedom. You finish eating, and your mind suggests dessert, and instead of automatically reaching for more food or fighting the craving, there's just noticing. The body is satisfied. The mind is suggesting more out of habit, and you can smile at this pattern and let it pass. You have a pleasant experience and it ends, and instead of that, grasping to make it last, or recreate it or capture it somehow, there's just appreciation. That was nice. Now it's done. What's here now? This is life without the first hindrance running constantly in the background. The reaching quiets. The grasping loosens. The constant sense that satisfaction is just one more thing away finally dissolves. And what remains is a kind of contentment that doesn't depend on getting what you want. A peace that isn't destroyed when pleasant experiences end. A freedom that comes from understanding desire instead of being controlled by it. The Buddha taught this not as philosophy, but as direct observation. Look at your own mind. Watch how craving arises when you grasp at pleasant experiences. Notice how it fades when you stop feeding it. See this for yourself. No one can do this for you. No one can remove your craving or give you freedom from it. But you can learn to see it clearly, and that clear seeing is what sets you free. Over time, with practice, the first bowl of water becomes transparent. The dye settles out. You can see clearly again. Not because you became a different person, not because you eliminated all desire, or stopped enjoying pleasure, but because you learned to see craving for what it is, a temporary pattern of mind, not a command you have to obey. This understanding brings a specific kind of relief. The relief of knowing you're not trapped. The relief of discovering you have a choice. The relief of finding that peace isn't actually hidden somewhere in the next thing you acquire or experience. It's here. It's been here all along, hidden only by the constant reaching that the first hindrance creates. Remove the hindrance, and peace is simply what remains. But there's another obstacle, another bowl of water, disturbed by something different. This one doesn't pull you toward pleasure. This one burns. It heats the water until it boils, until the surface becomes too turbulent to see anything clearly. The second hindrance is anger, and it has its own specific causes and its own specific remedies. The Buddha taught 5 different ways to remove it. 5 precise methods that work regardless of how long you've been angry or how justified your anger feels. Let that water settle for a moment. Let the lessons of the first hindrance rest in your mind. The constant reaching can quiet. The endless craving can fade. Through awareness, through understanding, through seeing clearly what's actually happening when desire arises. And when it does, when the first bowl of water begins to clear, you'll be ready to understand the second obstacle, the one that turns your mind into boiling water. The second bowl sits next to the first. This one is being heated from below. The water inside begins to bubble and roil. The surface churns violently. Steam rises. You can't see your reflection in boiling water. The surface is too disturbed, too chaotic, too violent. This is anger. This is ill will. This is the second hindrance. And you know exactly what this feels like. Someone cuts you off in traffic and heat floods your chest. Someone says something dismissive and your whole body tightens. Someone gets credit for your work and rage burns through you. Someone breaks a promise, ignores your message, treats you unfairly, and the water starts boiling. The Buddha said something direct about this hindrance. He said a person overcome by anger is like someone who picks up a burning coal to throw at another person. The one who gets burned first is the one holding the coal. You know this is true. You've lived it. Someone does something that hurts you at 9 in the morning. By 3 in the afternoon, they've completely forgotten about it. They're going about their day, eating lunch, laughing with friends, entirely at ease. And you've been burning for 6 hours. The anger has ruined your morning, destroyed your focus, poisoned your lunch, made every interaction tense. The person who triggered it hasn't suffered at all, but you have. This is the peculiar cruelty of anger. It punishes you for someone else's actions. The Buddha didn't say anger is wrong or that you're a bad person for feeling it. He said it's suffering. He said it's a fire that burns the one who holds it. and he taught specific methods for extinguishing it. 5 methods, actually. 5 different approaches, depending on what kind of person has triggered your anger. These aren't theories. They're practical tools that work. Tools you can use today with the actual people in your life who make you angry. But first, you need to understand what anger actually does to your mind. When the Buddha talked about the boiling water, he wasn't being poetic. He was describing what happens physiologically, mentally, emotionally when ill will takes over. Your body temperature actually rises. Your heart rate increases. Stress hormones flood your system. Your muscles tense. Your jaw clenches. Your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. And your mind, it becomes turbulent, chaotic, obsessive. You can't think clearly when you're angry. You replay the offense over and over. You imagine confrontations. You rehearse what you should have said. You build elaborate fantasies of revenge or justice. The same thoughts circle endlessly, heating the water hotter and hotter. And here's what the Buddha observed. While you're caught in this state, you can't see clearly. You can't make good decisions. You can't access wisdom or compassion or even basic common sense. The boiling water prevents reflection. Think about the last time you were truly angry. Could you see the other person's perspective? Could you remember their good qualities? Could you consider that maybe there were factors you didn't know about? Probably not. Anger creates tunnel vision. It narrows your focus to the offense, the hurt, the injustice. Everything else disappears. And the cost is enormous. You burn through energy being angry. Your body stays in stress mode, which exhausts you. Your mind can't rest because it keeps returning to the source of anger. You can't enjoy anything else because the anger contaminates everything. Food tastes wrong. Music irritates you. Conversations feel like distractions from your righteous rage. The whole world becomes colored by the heat of ill will. And it spreads. This is crucial to understand. You're angry at one person, but you snap at someone, completely uninvolved. You're upset about one thing, but suddenly everything annoys you. The anger doesn't stay contained. It leaks into every interaction, every thought, every moment of your day. Someone asks you a simple question, and you answer with an edge in your voice. Someone makes a minor mistake, and you respond with disproportionate frustration. Someone tries to help, and you reject them harshly. The boiling water splashes onto everyone nearby. There's something else the Buddha taught about anger that most people miss. He said that underneath anger, there's almost always hurt or fear. You get angry when someone dismisses you because it hurts to feel invisible. You get angry when someone threatens your position because you're afraid of losing security. You get angry when someone breaks trust because you're scared of being vulnerable again. The anger is the surface heat. Underneath is something more tender. And this matters because if you only address the anger, you miss the actual wound. You can cool the water temporarily, but the heat source is still there. The hurt or fear keeps reigniting the anger. This is why some people stay angry for years about the same thing. They never address the underlying hurt. They just keep circling back to the anger, which feels more powerful, more justified than admitting they're hurt or scared. Notice this in yourself. When anger arises, ask quietly, what hurts here? What am I afraid of? Often, the answer is immediate. I'm hurt that they don't respect me. I'm afraid they'll abandon me. I'm scared I'm not good enough. And when you acknowledge the hurt or fear, something shifts. The anger loses some of its intensity. It's still there, but it's not the only thing you feel anymore. This doesn't fix everything. The hurt is real. The fear might be legitimate, but at least now you're working with what's actually happening instead of just burning in reactive anger. So the Buddha taught 5 specific methods for cooling this water. 5 ways to remove anger depending on the situation. The first method is for when someone's actions are unkind, but their words are kind. Picture this. You have a coworker who regularly undermines you in meetings, takes credit for your ideas, competes with you aggressively. Their actions cause you real harm, but sometimes, in conversation, they're pleasant. They compliment you. They ask about your weekend. They seem friendly. The anger wants to reject everything about this person. It wants to see them as entirely bad. But the Buddha said, focus on the kind words, not the unkind actions. He gave an image for this. He said it's like a monk walking past a garbage pile and seeing one piece of clean cloth among all the filth. The monk doesn't focus on the garbage. He picks up the clean cloth with his left hand, stretches it out with his right hand, examines it to make sure it's truly clean, then takes it home to wash and add to his robe. You do the same with this person. Their actions are the garbage pile, but their kind words are the clean cloth. You can acknowledge the cloth without denying the garbage exists. This doesn't mean you trust them. It doesn't mean you're naive about their harmful actions. It means you don't let anger consume you by focusing only on what they do wrong. You notice, they did compliment my work yesterday. They did ask if I needed help with that project. They did speak kindly in that moment. And focusing on these moments, even while staying aware of their harmful patterns, prevents the anger from boiling over. The water stays warm, but it doesn't reach a violent boil. The second method is for when someone's words are harsh, but their actions are kind. Maybe you have a family member who criticizes you constantly. Their words sting. They point out your flaws, question your choices, express disappointment in you. But when you actually need help, they show up. When you're in trouble, they're there. Their actions demonstrate care, even though their words hurt. The Buddha said this is like coming to a pond covered entirely with algae and moss. You're thirsty, overheated, exhausted. You can't see the water beneath the algae, but you know it's there. So you get down on your hands and knees, push aside the algae with your hands, and drink the cool water underneath. You do the same with this person. Their words are the algae. unpleasant, obscuring, but their kind actions are the water beneath. You push aside the harsh words and focus on what they actually do. They criticize your job choices, but they helped you move apartments. They question your relationship, but they showed up when you were sick. They express disappointment, but they've never actually abandoned you. Focusing on the actions instead of the words keeps the anger from boiling. You can hear the criticism without letting it heat you into rage. You can acknowledge their words hurt, but their actions show love. The third method is for when someone has only a tiny bit of kindness with mostly harmful words and actions. This is the hardest situation. Someone who is almost entirely difficult, almost entirely harmful, with just the smallest trace of decency. The Buddha's image for this is striking. He said it's like coming to a crossroads when you're desperately thirsty. You see a puddle in a buffalo's footprint, just a tiny amount of muddy water. If you try to scoop it with your hand, you'll just stir up the mud and make it undrinkable. So you get down on your hands and knees and drink directly, lips to the water, without disturbing it. With this person, you focus on the tiniest bit of good without disturbing everything else. You don't try to scoop up their kindness, analyze it, make it bigger than it is. You just notice it quietly and let that small recognition cool the anger slightly. They're dismissive 99% of the time, but once they asked how you were doing and seemed to genuinely care, that's the drop of water in the footprint. You don't need to make it into an ocean. You just acknowledge. In that moment, they showed basic human decency. And that tiny acknowledgement is enough to prevent the anger from reaching a full boil. Just enough to keep the water at a simmer instead of a violent churn. The fourth method is for when someone has absolutely nothing good that you can see. This is someone whose words and actions are both harmful, who shows no kindness, who seems entirely caught in their own dysfunction or cruelty. The Buddha said this is like encountering a sick traveler on a remote road. The person is miles from any village, desperately ill, with no one to help them. If no one helps, they will die. When you see this, compassion arises naturally. You don't focus on whether they deserve help or whether they're a good person. You see someone suffering, far from help, and your heart responds. You do the same with someone who shows no kindness at all. You see them not as a villain to rage against, but as someone suffering so deeply that kindness has become impossible for them. This person who harms you, they're trapped in their own anger, their own pain, their own confusion. They're far from help. They can't even see that they need help. Without a change, without someone showing them a different way, they'll continue suffering and causing suffering. Seeing this doesn't excuse their behavior. It doesn't mean you have to accept being harmed, but it shifts your anger into something else. Maybe sadness, maybe compassion, maybe just clear-eyed recognition of their suffering. And that shift cools the boiling water, not to cold, but to a temperature where you can think clearly again. The fifth method is for when someone is genuinely kind in both words and actions. You might wonder why anger would arise towards such a person, but it does. Jealousy can masquerade as anger. Comparison can heat into resentment. Their success can feel like your failure. Their happiness can highlight your unhappiness. The Buddha said this is like coming to a beautiful clear lake. The water is pure, sweet, cool. The bottom is level. Grass grows green around the shore. Trees provide shade. A thirsty person coming to this lake doesn't complain that the water is too clear or too accessible. They don't resent the lake for being beautiful. They simply drink gratefully and rest in the shade. When someone is genuinely kind, you receive their kindness like drinking from a clear lake. You don't poison it with comparison or jealousy. You don't heat it with resentment. You just appreciate this person is kind, and that's genuinely good. Their kindness doesn't diminish you. Their good qualities don't make you less. The lake doesn't run dry because you drink from it. Recognizing this prevents anger from arising in the first place. The water stays cool and clear. These 5 methods work, not theoretically, practically. Right now, think of someone you're angry at. Which method applies to them? Are their actions unkind, but their words sometimes kind? Focus on the clean cloth in the garbage. Are their words harsh, but their actions caring? Push aside the algae and drink the water beneath. Do they show only the tiniest trace of decency? Notice that small drop without disturbing the mud. Do they seem entirely lost in harm? See them as a sick traveler far from help. Are they actually kind, triggering jealousy or comparison? Drink from the clear lake without resentment. Pick the method that fits and try it. Not forever, not as a permanent solution to an ongoing harmful relationship, just for right now, as a way to cool the boiling water so you can see clearly again. Because that's what these methods do. They don't fix the other person. They don't solve the underlying problem. They cool your anger so you can respond wisely instead of reacting from rage. And there's a practical reason this matters beyond just feeling better. Anger destroys your ability to rest. Try to sleep while angry, and your mind replays the offense endlessly. You lie there rehearsing arguments, imagining confrontations, burning hour after hour when your body desperately needs rest. The boiling water doesn't stop just because it's nighttime. The Buddha taught that someone consumed by anger can't sleep peacefully, can't eat with enjoyment, can't think clearly, can't make good decisions. The heat of ill will touch his everything. And over time, chronic anger creates chronic stress. Your body stays in fight mode. Your immune system weakens. Your blood pressure rises. Your digestion suffers. The physical cost is real and measurable. So cooling the water isn't just about feeling peaceful. It's about protecting your health, your sleep, your ability to function. But there's another practice the Buddha taught for anger, a deeper practice, one that doesn't just address specific people, but transforms your whole relationship with ill will. It's called metta, loving kindness. The Buddha taught that you can systematically cultivate goodwill the same way you systematically cultivate anything else. Through practice, through repetition, through patient training. The practice is simple. You start with yourself. You wish yourself well, not in a selfish or indulgent way, but with genuine care. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. May I live with ease. This isn't affirmation. It's not pretending everything is fine. It's a genuine wish for your own well-being, the same way you'd wish a friend well. Most people skip this step. They think it's selfish to wish themselves well. But the Buddha was clear. You can't genuinely wish others well if you're at war with yourself. Self-hatred just spills over into everything else. So you start with yourself. May I be safe, healthy, peaceful, at ease. Feel what that's like. What does it feel like in your body to genuinely wish yourself well? Where does the warmth arise? Then you extend it. You think of someone you love, naturally and easily. Maybe a close friend, a family member, someone who has only ever been kind to you. And you wish them well. May they be safe. May they be healthy. May they be peaceful. May they live with ease. This usually feels natural. The wish flows easily. You genuinely want good things for this person. Then you extend it further. You think of someone neutral, someone you see regularly, but have no strong feelings about. The person who makes your coffee, a neighbor you wave to, someone you pass on your regular walk. May they be safe. May they be healthy. May they be peaceful. May they live with ease. This takes a little more effort. You don't know this person well, but you can recognize they're human. They want happiness. They want to avoid suffering, just like you. Then comes the challenging part. You think of someone difficult, someone who has hurt you, someone you're angry at, and you try, even though it feels impossible, to wish them well. May they be safe. May they be healthy. May they be peaceful. May they live with ease. This doesn't mean you're okay with what they did. It doesn't mean you're excusing their behavior. It doesn't mean you have to trust them or let them back into your life. It means you recognize that their suffering leads to their causing suffering, and you wish for an end to that cycle. Not for their sake primarily, for everyone's sake, including yours. Because as long as they're caught in suffering, they'll keep causing harm. The only thing that will stop the harm is them finding genuine peace. So wishing them peace is actually wishing for an end to the harm they cause. This practice is radical. It goes against every instinct that says you should hate people who hurt you. It challenges the belief that anger is justified when someone has done wrong. But watch what it does to the boiling water. When you practice metta towards someone you're angry at, the heat starts to dissipate. Not immediately, not all at once, But gradually, the violent boiling calms to a simmer. The simmer cools to warmth. The warmth eventually cools completely. And this happens not through suppression, but through transformation. You're not pushing the anger down. You're replacing the fire with something else. You're removing the heat source. The Buddha taught this practice to an entire city. He told them to cultivate metta in all directions, toward those ahead of them, behind them, to the left, to the right, above, below, all around. Let loving kindness extend everywhere, without exception, without limit. And he said, when you practice this way, your heart becomes like the sky, vast enough to hold everything, not contaminated by what passes through it. Anger can't survive in that vastness. It's like trying to pollute the ocean with a cup of poison. The ocean is too big. The poison just dissolves. This doesn't mean you become passive or accept harm. The Buddha never taught that. You can set boundaries with kindness. You can protect yourself with a clear heart. You can say no, leave harmful situations, demand better treatment, all without the boiling water of rage. Actually, you can do these things more effectively without anger, because when the water is cool and clear, you can see the situation accurately. You can respond with wisdom instead of reacting from heat. Someone treats you badly, and instead of boiling over, you clearly see, this is harmful, and I need to remove myself from this situation. No drama, no rage, no burning coal in your hand, just clear recognition and appropriate action. This is what the Buddha meant by removing the second hindrance. The water stops boiling. The heat source is removed. The surface becomes calm enough to see your reflection again. Not through pretending you're not hurt, not through bypassing genuine pain, but through understanding that anger hurts you more than anyone else, and choosing to cool the water through wise attention and loving kindness. Try it right now. Think of someone you're angry at. Feel the heat in your body. Notice where the anger lives. Your chest, your jaw, your hands. Now try, just as an experiment, to wish them well. May they be safe. May they be peaceful. Notice what happens to the heat. It might not disappear, but does it intensify, or does it start to cool, even slightly? This is how you work with the second hindrance. One moment at a time, one person at a time, one cooling breath at a time. And gradually, the water that was violently boiling becomes calm, clear enough to see through, cool enough to rest in. The second bowl of water settles. The heat dissipates. What remains is clarity and peace. But there's a third bowl, and this one has a different problem entirely. This one isn't dyed or boiling. This one is covered. A thick layer of moss and algae blocks the surface. You can't see through it at all. The third hindrance isn't about reaching or burning. It's about heaviness, about fog, about the state where everything feels impossible and nothing seems worth the effort. The Buddha called it sloth and torpor, We might call it depression, exhaustion, the inability to engage with life. And it has its own specific causes and its own specific remedies. The third bowl sits next to the second. This one isn't dyed with color or heated into chaos. This one is covered. Thick moss spreads across the surface. Algae clouds the water beneath. The whole thing looks murky, stagnant, lifeless. You can't see your reflection at all. The covering blocks everything. This is the third hindrance. The Buddha called it sloth and torpor. We might call it the fog that makes everything feel impossible. You know this state. It's 3 in the afternoon, and you need to do something important, but your body feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. You're sitting on the couch and you know you should get up, but the effort required seems insurmountable. You have work to do, calls to make, emails to send, but even thinking about them exhausts you. Everything feels heavy, thick, impossible. This isn't the same as being tired from lack of sleep. You can be well rested and still experience this heaviness. This is a specific kind of fog that settles over your mind and makes engagement with life feel like wading through mud. The Buddha was precise about this. He said sloth affects the body, the physical heaviness, the inability to move, and torpor affects the mind, the mental dullness, the inability to think clearly or care about anything. Together, they create a state where nothing seems worth doing. You scroll through your phone not because you're enjoying it, but because everything else requires too much energy. You watch shows you don't care about because choosing something you'd actually like seems too difficult. You eat whatever's easiest, even though you're not hungry, because making real food feels impossible. This isn't laziness. That's important to understand. Laziness is avoiding effort because you'd rather do something more pleasant. Sloth and torpor is when you can't access the energy to do anything at all, even things you'd normally enjoy. Someone experiencing this hindrance might love reading but can't focus on a single page. They might enjoy music but can't be bothered to put it on. They might care about friends but can't find the energy to respond to messages. The moss has covered everything. And here's what makes this hindrance particularly difficult. It feeds itself. When you're in this state, the last thing you want to do is the thing that would actually help. You need to move your body, but moving feels impossible. You need to engage your mind, but thinking feels exhausting. You need to connect with people, but conversation seems like too much effort. So you stay stuck. The moss gets thicker, the fog gets denser, and the longer you stay in it, the harder it becomes to get out. One afternoon of heaviness turns into a weekend. A weekend turns into a week. A week turns into a pattern. The interesting thing about this hindrance is how it disguises itself as reasonable. The torpor tells you you're just being sensible, conserving energy, not pushing yourself too hard. It makes staying stuck feel like self-care, when actually it's self-abandonment. You tell yourself you'll do it later, when you have more energy. But the energy never comes because you're not doing the things that create energy. You're waiting to feel motivated before you act. But motivation comes from action, not before it. This is the trap of the third hindrance. It convinces you that doing nothing is the wise choice when actually gentle action is what dissolves it. The Buddha taught something crucial about this hindrance. He said you need to understand the difference between genuine rest and this fog of resistance. Your body needs rest. That's natural, healthy, necessary. After exertion, you rest. After a long day, you sleep. After intense focus, you relax. That's not the third hindrance. The third hindrance is when you're not actually tired, but you can't engage. When you've done nothing all day, but you still feel exhausted. When you wake up after 8 hours of sleep still feeling heavy and dull. Real rest restores you. Sloth and torpor depletes you. Think about the last time you truly rested. Maybe you took a walk without your phone. Maybe you sat outside and watched the sky. Maybe you lay down and actually let yourself relax. How did you feel after? Probably refreshed, clear, ready to engage again. Now think about the last time you sank into sloth and torpor. Hours on the couch, scrolling mindlessly, binge-watching shows you don't care about, staying in bed long past when your body needed sleep. How did you feel after? Probably worse. Foggy, heavy, depleted. That's the difference. Rest nourishes. Sloth and torpor suffocates. So, how do you remove this hindrance? The Buddha taught something that might seem counterintuitive. He said, cultivate the perception of light. Not physical light, though that can help. The perception of brightness, clarity, energy. When the mind is dull and heavy, you deliberately turn your attention toward anything that feels alive, awake, bright. You remember what alertness feels like. You recall moments of clarity and energy. This isn't positive thinking. It's strategic attention. Your mind goes where your attention goes. If you keep focusing on how heavy and tired you feel, the heaviness intensifies. If you turn your attention toward brightness and clarity, even just the memory of it, something begins to shift. Try this right now. Remember a time when you felt truly energized and awake. Maybe a morning when you woke naturally, refreshed. Maybe a moment of excitement about something you cared about. Maybe a conversation that made you feel alive. Don't just think about it. Remember what it felt like in your body. The physical sensation of being awake, alert, engaged. Feel that memory. Let it be present. Notice what happens to the heaviness when you do this. It might not disappear, but does it loosen, even slightly? This is the perception of light. Not forcing yourself to feel energized, just remembering what clarity feels like and letting that memory create a small opening in the fog. The Buddha also taught about balanced effort. This is crucial for understanding the third hindrance. There's a story about a monk named Sona who practiced intensely. He was meditating so hard that the skin on his feet cracked and bled from walking meditation. But despite all this effort, he wasn't making progress. He was exhausted, frustrated, thinking maybe he should give up. The Buddha asked him a question. "Before you became a monk, what did you do?" Sona said he played a stringed instrument. The Buddha asked, "When the strings were too tight, what happened?" "The sound was harsh and unpleasant," Sona replied. "And when the strings were too loose, there was no sound at all. And when the strings were tuned just right, the music was beautiful." The Buddha said, "It's the same with effort in practice. Too tight, and you burn out. Too loose, and nothing happens. Find the right balance, and progress comes naturally." This applies directly to sloth and torpor. When you're in the fog, you might think you need to force yourself into action. Push harder. Try to willpower your way through the heaviness. But that's tightening strings that are already strained. It doesn't work. It just leads to more exhaustion. You also can't go completely loose and just sink into the torpor. That's strings with no tension at all. No music emerges. You need the middle way. Enough effort to engage, but not so much that you exhaust yourself. What does this look like practically? Maybe you can't do the full task that feels overwhelming, but can you do one small part of it? Not forcing, just gently engaging. You can't write the whole email, but can you write the first sentence? You can't clean the whole kitchen, but can you wash one dish? You can't go for a long walk, but can you step outside for 1 minute? These small actions tune the strings. Not too tight, not too loose. Just enough tension to create movement. And movement breaks the fog. The Buddha taught about 7 factors of awakening, and he described them in a specific order because they build on each other naturally. The first factor is mindfulness. This just means noticing what's actually happening. When you're in sloth and torpor, mindfulness is noticing, I'm in fog right now. I feel heavy. My mind is dull. This is the third hindrance present. Just that noticing is the beginning, because you can't address what you're not aware of. The second factor is investigation. Once you notice the fog, you get curious about it. Not analyzing it to death, just gentle curiosity. What does this heaviness actually feel like? Where is it in my body? Is it uniform, or are there places that feel less heavy? This curiosity itself is energy. The mind can't be both curious and completely dull at the same time. The third factor is energy, and this arises naturally from investigation. When you get genuinely curious about something, even about your own heaviness, energy appears. Not massive energy, just a little brightness, a small clearing in the fog. The fourth factor is joy, not forced happiness. just a lighter feeling that comes when you notice the fog lifting even slightly. Oh, I was completely stuck a moment ago, and now there's a tiny bit of space. That's interesting. That's actually kind of nice. The fifth factor is tranquility. As the heaviness lifts, a different kind of calm emerges. Not the dead weight of torpor, a peaceful, easeful quality. The sixth factor is concentration. When the mind is tranquil, it can focus naturally. No forcing, just steady attention that wasn't possible when the fog was thick. The seventh factor is equanimity, a balanced awareness that can hold whatever arises without getting caught in it. These 7 factors don't require you to do anything special. They unfold naturally when you start with simple mindfulness. You notice you're in fog. You get curious about the fog. That curiosity brings a little energy. The energy brings a lighter feeling. The lighter feeling brings calm. The calm brings focus. The focus brings balance. One thing leads to the next, like dominoes falling, but in a good direction. Here's what this looks like with actual sloth and torpor. You're on the couch, heavy, unable to move. You notice this is torpor. That's mindfulness. Then you get curious. What does this actually feel like? You scan your body. Legs heavy. Yes. But hands? Not quite as heavy. That's investigation. That little bit of curiosity wakes you up slightly. There's energy. You move your fingers just to feel them. Oh, that's possible. That's actually kind of pleasant. There's joy. The compulsion to stay frozen loosens. You feel a bit more at ease. There's tranquility. You can focus on one thing, maybe just sitting up. There's concentration. And you're not so caught in the story of being stuck anymore. There's equanimity. None of this required massive effort. Just noticing, getting curious, and letting the natural progression unfold. But there's something else important about the third hindrance. The Buddha taught that certain conditions make it worse. Overeating creates heaviness. When you eat until you're uncomfortably full, torpor follows naturally. Your body puts all its energy into digestion. Your mind becomes dull. Lack of movement creates stagnation. When you sit or lie down for hours without any physical activity, the body becomes sluggish. The mind follows. Boredom feeds torpor. When you're doing something that doesn't engage your interest at all, the mind checks out. It goes into a dull, heavy state as a way of avoiding the tedium. Poor sleep creates a vulnerability. When you're genuinely exhausted from lack of sleep, the third hindrance finds easy entry. The fog settles quickly because your resources are already depleted. Understanding these conditions means you can work with them. Instead of eating until you're stuffed, you stop when you're satisfied. Your body stays light enough to move, to think, to engage. Instead of staying sedentary all day, you move regularly. Not intense exercise necessarily, just standing, stretching, walking from one room to another. enough to keep energy circulating. Instead of forcing yourself through boring tasks for hours, you take breaks. You give your mind something interesting to engage with, even briefly. Instead of sacrificing sleep for productivity, you protect your rest. Because genuine tiredness makes you vulnerable to the fog. These aren't rules. They're observations about what feeds the third hindrance and what starves it. The Buddha also taught about using your senses to counter dullness. When the mind is heavy and dull, bright light can help. Step outside into sunlight. Turn on all the lights in your room. The visual brightness counteracts the mental darkness. Cool water on your face wakes the body. The shock of cold cuts through torpor. Standing up shifts energy. Just the act of changing from sitting to standing brings a little alertness. Fresh air clears the fog. Even opening a window, even for 30 seconds, can make a difference. These are practical tools, not meditation techniques or spiritual practices, just simple ways of working with the body to shift the mind. Because the third hindrance lives in the body as much as the mind. The physical heaviness and the mental dullness reinforce each other. Address one, and you affect the other. There's also the practice of contemplating what you actually care about. When you're in torpor, it feels like nothing matters. Everything seems pointless. Why bother doing anything? But that's the fog talking, not the truth. So you ask yourself, what do I genuinely care about? Not what you should care about. Not what other people think matters. What actually moves your heart? Maybe it's a person you love. Maybe it's a creative project. Maybe it's a value you hold. Maybe it's just the desire to feel alive again. Connect with that care. Let yourself feel it, even if it's faint under the fog. That connection is energy. It's light. It's the brightness that can cut through heaviness. And sometimes, the most effective thing to do is exactly what you don't want to do. The torpor says, stay on the couch. The remedy is stand up. The torpor says, don't engage with anything difficult. The remedy is, do one small, challenging thing. The torpor says, avoid people. The remedy is, have one brief conversation. Not because you force yourself, but because you recognize that the fog lies. It tells you that everything is impossible when actually small things are quite possible. You test it. Can I really not stand up? And you discover you can. The fog said it was impossible, but it wasn't true. Can I really not send one text message? And you discover you can. The heaviness said it was too much effort, but it wasn't. Each small action proves the fog is lying, and each time you prove it's lying, it loses a little power. The Buddha's image of the covered bowl is perfect for this. The water is still there, clear and clean, underneath the moss. You just can't see it because something is covering it. Remove the covering, and the clarity is immediately visible. You don't have to create energy or manufacture alertness. You just have to remove what's blocking it. The moss comes off gradually. One small action, one moment of curiosity, one step outside, one conscious breath. Each removes a little bit of the covering. And underneath, you discover what was always there, a natural capacity for engagement, for interest, for being present with life. This isn't about becoming some highly energized person who's productive every moment. That's not the goal. The goal is simply to be able to engage when engagement is appropriate, and rest when rest is needed. Not trapped in fog that prevents both. Right now, notice your own energy. Is there any torpor present? Any heaviness? Any sense of not wanting to engage? If so, just notice it. That's the first factor, mindfulness. Then get curious. Where do you feel the heaviness most? Is there anywhere that feels less heavy? That curiosity itself is already removing some moss from the bowl, already creating a small clearing. The third hindrance is removable, not through massive effort, through gentle, persistent attention and small, skillful actions. The water in the third bowl begins to clear. The moss lifts. You can start to see through to what's underneath. And what you find there is your own natural capacity for wakefulness, for engagement, for being present with whatever life brings. But there's a fourth bowl, and this one has yet another problem. This one isn't covered or boiling or dyed. This one is being disturbed by wind. The surface ripples and churns, never still, never settling. The fourth hindrance isn't heaviness or heat or constant reaching. It's the mind that won't stop moving, the thoughts that won't slow down, the restlessness that exhausts you even though you haven't done anything. And it too has specific causes and specific remedies. The fourth bowl sits next to the third. This one has clear water, no dye, no heat, no covering. But wind disturbs the surface. Constant ripples, small waves. The water never settles. You can't see your reflection in water that's constantly moving. The image breaks apart. Fragments, never coheres into anything you can recognize. This is the fourth hindrance, restlessness and worry, the mind that won't stop moving. You're lying in bed, trying to sleep, and your mind jumps from thought to thought. What you said in that conversation, what you need to do tomorrow, something you forgot 3 days ago, a problem that might happen next month. Back to the conversation, forward to tomorrow, sideways to something completely unrelated. The thoughts won't stop. The mind won't settle. Wind keeps disturbing the surface. Or you're trying to focus on one thing and your attention scatters in 20 directions. You read a paragraph and realize you absorbed nothing because your mind was somewhere else. You start a task and immediately think of 5 other tasks you should be doing instead. You sit down to rest and your body feels agitated, unable to be still. This is different from the first hindrance. The first hindrance reaches toward pleasant experiences. The fourth hindrance just moves, constantly, without direction or purpose. It's not seeking anything specific. It's just incapable of settling. The Buddha distinguished between two aspects of this hindrance. Restlessness is the body's agitation. Worry is the mind's anxious spinning. Restlessness shows up as physical tension, fidgeting, inability to sit still. Your leg bounces. Your fingers tap. You shift positions constantly. Your jaw clenches. Your shoulders rise toward your ears. Worry shows up as mental churning, repetitive thoughts, what-if scenarios. Did I say the wrong thing? What if they're angry? What if this doesn't work? What if I forgot something important? What if? What if? What if? Together, they create exhaustion without accomplishment. You're busy all day, but can't point to anything you actually did. You're thinking constantly, but not arriving at any clarity. You're in motion, without moving forward. The wind keeps blowing across the water, and the surface never settles long enough for you to see clearly. Here's what makes this hindrance particularly draining. It masquerades as productivity. When you're restless and worried, it feels like you're doing something important. All that mental activity must be useful, right? All that planning and reviewing and anticipating and regretting. Surely that's accomplishing something. But it's not. It's just wind disturbing water. The thoughts go in circles without resolving anything. You replay a conversation for the 100th time, and the 100th replay doesn't bring any new insight. You run through a what-if scenario, again and again, but you're no more prepared than you were the first time. The restlessness burns energy without creating anything. The worry spins thoughts without generating wisdom. And it prevents you from being present for what's actually happening right now. You're with someone who's talking to you, but you're mentally composing an email. You're eating a meal, but you're worrying about tomorrow's meeting. You're walking outside, but you're reviewing yesterday's mistakes. The present moment keeps getting lost in the ripples. The Buddha taught something important about this hindrance. He said the mind becomes restless and worried when it dwells on things it regrets or things it fears. Regret looks backward. What you should have said, what you should have done, mistakes you made, opportunities you missed, ways you failed. The mind churns through these, trying to undo the past, which is impossible. So the churning continues endlessly. Fear looks forward. What might go wrong? What you might lose? What could happen? Scenarios that haven't occurred and might never occur. The mind tries to solve problems that don't exist yet, which is also impossible. So that churning continues endlessly too. Both create the same result. The mind won't settle. The water ripples and churns. No reflection becomes visible. So what's the remedy? The Buddha taught 5 specific methods for working with thoughts that disturb the mind. 5 techniques for when the mental wind won't stop blowing. The first method is replacing an unwholesome thought with a wholesome one. When your mind is caught in worry or regret, you deliberately shift attention to something beneficial, not through suppression, through substitution. The Buddha used an image for this. He said it's like a carpenter who uses a fine peg to knock out a coarse peg. You don't try to make the coarse peg disappear. You replace it with something else. So when you notice yourself worrying about a future event, you can shift attention to something actually present. The sensation of breathing, the feeling of your feet on the floor, something real, happening now, that your mind can rest on. When you catch yourself replaying a regretted conversation, you can shift to remembering a moment when you spoke skillfully, not to erase the regret, but to give your mind a different object to rest on. The worried thought is the coarse peg. The present moment awareness, or beneficial memory, is the fine peg. One replaces the other. This takes practice. Your mind has habits of worry that are deeply ingrained. Decades of rehearsing problems and reviewing mistakes. It won't shift immediately just because you want it to. But each time you successfully shift attention from an anxious thought to a beneficial one, you weaken the habit slightly. The coarse peg loosens. The replacement becomes a little easier. The second method is examining the danger in the thoughts. When your mind won't stop worrying, you can look directly at what these thoughts are actually doing to you. The Buddha's image for this is striking. He said it's like a young person who loves to look beautiful, encountering a rotting corpse. The horror and disgust would be immediate. You do the same with the anxious thoughts. You look at their actual effect. This worry about tomorrow's meeting, has it helped me prepare more effectively? Or has it just exhausted me and made focusing harder? This replay of yesterday's mistake, has it taught me something new? Or am I just torturing myself with something I can't change? This what-if scenario about next month, is this productive planning? Or am I creating suffering about something that might never happen? When you see clearly that the thoughts are creating suffering without solving anything, something shifts. Not because you force it, because seeing the danger clearly naturally creates distance. You wouldn't keep picking up something that burned your hand once you recognized it was burning you. Same with harmful thought patterns. Once you see the actual damage, the mind lets go more easily. The third method is trying to forget the thoughts entirely. The Buddha said this is like a person who doesn't want to see certain things closing their eyes or looking away. Sometimes the thought isn't worth engaging at all. Not worth replacing, not worth examining, just worth ignoring. Your mind suggests worrying about something trivial, and you just don't give it attention. You let it pass like background noise. Not fighting it, not engaging it, just not feeding it with your attention. This works particularly well for repetitive worries that you've already addressed. Your mind suggests the same anxiety for the 20th time today, and you recognize, I've been through this already. Nothing new here, not worth engaging. You look away, let the thought pass, like a car driving by that you don't need to get into. The fourth method is calming the thought formation process itself. This one is subtler. The Buddha said it's like a person walking fast who thinks, "Why am I rushing?" and slows to a walk, then thinks, "Why am I walking?" and stands still, then sits, then lies down. You apply the same principle to mental activity. Your thoughts are racing, jumping from worry to worry. You notice these thoughts are moving too fast, and you slow them deliberately, not by thinking slower thoughts, by allowing the spaces between thoughts to become noticeable. One worried thought arises, completes, dissolves. Before the next one starts, there's a gap. You rest in that gap. The next thought arises, completes, dissolves. Another gap. You rest there. Gradually, the frantic quality of thinking slows down. The thoughts themselves become less compulsive. The gaps between them widen. Like moving from running to walking to standing to sitting to lying down. Progressive, settling. The wind gradually calms. The fifth method is what the Buddha called crushing mind with mind. This is the last resort, when the other four methods haven't worked and the thoughts are still disturbing you. He said you use your teeth clenched, tongue pressed to the roof of your mouth, to beat down and constrain mind with mind. In modern terms, you get firm with yourself. You're worrying for the 100th time about something you can't control, and you say clearly to yourself, "Stop. This isn't helping. This needs to end now." Not with judgment or harshness toward yourself, but with the same firmness you'd use to protect a child from running into traffic. Clear, definite, non-negotiable. Sometimes the mind needs that clarity. The other methods are gentle, but if they're not working, this firmer approach can cut through the spinning. These 5 methods work. The Buddha didn't teach them as theory. He taught them because they're effective, with the actual, restless, worried minds that human beings have. Try them in order. Replace the thought with something beneficial. If that doesn't work, examine its danger. If that doesn't work, ignore it completely. If that doesn't work, slow the thought process itself. If that doesn't work, get firm. One of these 5 will address what's happening in your mind right now. But there's also something deeper happening with this hindrance. Something about what creates restlessness in the first place. The Buddha taught that restlessness arises from a mind that's scattered across too many things. Too many concerns, too many commitments, too many things you're trying to track and manage and worry about. Modern life intensifies this. You're expected to monitor multiple email accounts, several messaging apps, social media feeds, news, work projects, personal relationships, health, finances, and on and on. Your attention gets divided into smaller and smaller fragments. The wind blows from every direction at once. The water never has a chance to settle. The remedy isn't trying to track everything perfectly. That just creates more restlessness. The remedy is simplifying, deliberately reducing the number of things your mind has to hold. Not forever, not as a lifestyle, just right now, as a way to let the wind calm. You can't focus on your work if you're also monitoring 3 messaging apps. Close them. Let that wind stop blowing for an hour. You can't rest if you're mentally reviewing tomorrow's to-do list. Write it down. Get it out of your mind. Let your mind stop holding that information. You can't be present with a person if you're also thinking about 5 other obligations. Acknowledge those obligations exist, then deliberately set them aside for this conversation. Each thing you remove from your active attention is one less source of wind disturbing the water. The Buddha also taught about developing tranquility as a factor of awakening. Tranquility isn't something you create through effort. It emerges naturally when the conditions for restlessness are removed. Think of the wind-disturbed water again. You don't make the water calm. You remove the wind, and the water calms itself. Same with the mind. You don't force tranquility. You remove what's disturbing peace, and tranquility appears on its own. What disturbs peace? Mental activity that serves no purpose. Worries that can't be resolved through worrying. Regrets about things that can't be changed. Planning that goes beyond useful into obsessive. Remove these, and what's left is naturally calm. Here's what this looks like practically. You're lying in bed, mind spinning with tomorrow's concerns. You recognize this is restlessness. This is the wind disturbing the water. You try the first method. Replace the worried thoughts with attention to breathing. In, out, in, out. The breath is happening now, not in tomorrow's imagined future. If the worried thoughts persist, you try the second method. Look at what they're actually doing. Is this worry helping me prepare? No, I've already prepared as much as I can. This is just creating suffering. Seeing that clearly, the thoughts lose some intensity. They're still there, but less compelling. If they're still disturbing you, you try the third method. Let them pass without engaging. Thoughts about tomorrow drift by like clouds. You don't grab onto them. You just watch them pass. And gradually, the wind calms. The surface of the water begins to settle. Tranquility emerges. Not because you forced it, because you stopped feeding the disturbance. The Buddha taught that when tranquility is present, concentration becomes natural. Concentration isn't gritting your teeth and forcing your attention to stay put. That's exhausting and ineffective. Real concentration is what happens when the water is still enough that your reflection naturally holds. Your mind rests on one thing because there's no wind scattering it in multiple directions. You're reading, and the words make sense because your attention isn't jumping to 5 other things. You're listening to someone, and you actually hear them because your mind isn't composing responses or drifting to unrelated thoughts. You're working on something, and progress happens because you're actually present for the work. This natural concentration brings satisfaction that restlessness never does. When you're restless, you might accomplish things, but you don't feel the accomplishment. Your attention was so scattered that you weren't present for what you did. When you're concentrated, even small things feel meaningful. You were actually there, fully present. The experience registers. There's also something important about the relationship between restlessness and regret. Restlessness often comes from unacknowledged regret. You did something you wish you hadn't, but instead of addressing the regret directly, your mind just becomes agitated. The agitation is the regret not being processed. It's restless energy that has nowhere to go. So part of working with this hindrance is being willing to acknowledge regret when it's present. Not to wallow in it, but to recognize, I did something unskillful. I wish I'd done it differently. I can learn from this. That acknowledgement allows the regret to complete. The restless energy has somewhere to go. The mind can settle. Same with worry. Often underneath worry is fear that we won't admit to ourselves. You're worried about a presentation, but what you're actually afraid of is being judged. You're worried about a medical test, but what you're actually afraid of is bad news. You're worried about money, but what you're actually afraid of is losing security. The worry circles and circles without settling because you're not addressing the fear underneath. When you acknowledge the fear directly, yes, I'm afraid of being judged. Yes, I'm scared of what the test might show. The worry often dissolves. Not because the fear goes away, but because you're no longer using worry to avoid feeling the fear. The restlessness was just fear in motion. Stop moving, and you can feel what's actually there. The Buddha taught something radical about this. He said a mind free from restlessness and worry experiences a particular kind of happiness. Not the happiness of getting what you want, the happiness of not being driven by anxiety. When the wind stops disturbing the water, there's relief, deep relief, the kind you feel in your whole body. You know this if you've ever had a period of intense worry that finally resolved. The problem got solved or just stopped mattering, and suddenly you could breathe again. That lightness, that ease, that sense of coming back to yourself. That's what's possible when the fourth hindrance is removed. Not occasionally, when circumstances align, but regularly, through understanding how to work with the mind. There's also a physical component to restlessness that gets overlooked. The body holds anxiety in specific ways, and addressing the physical tension can calm the mental spinning. Your shoulders carry stress, rising up toward your ears, without you noticing. Dropping them consciously, letting them release, can interrupt the restless pattern. Your jaw clenches when worry intensifies, softening it, letting your teeth separate slightly, signals safety to your nervous system. The mental wind often calms when the body releases. Your breathing becomes shallow when anxiety is present, which then increases the anxiety in a feedback loop. Taking 3 deliberate deeper breaths, filling your lungs completely, can break that loop. The restlessness decreases as oxygen reaches your brain. These aren't spiritual techniques. They're physiological interventions that work because restlessness lives in the body as much as the mind. Right now, notice your own mind. Is there restlessness present? Agitation? Is your attention scattered? Is there worry? Thoughts spinning about the future or past? Mental energy going in circles? Just notice. That's the first step. Then ask, what's one source of wind I can remove right now? Maybe it's closing a tab on your phone that's calling for attention. Maybe it's writing down a thought so your mind can stop holding it. Maybe it's just taking 3 slow breaths to interrupt the racing quality. One less source of disturbance. One small calming of the wind. And notice what happens to the water when you do this. Does it settle slightly? Even just a little? That settling is tranquility beginning to emerge. Not forced, not created, just revealed when the disturbance decreases. The 4th bowl of water can become still. The wind can calm. Your reflection can appear clearly on the surface. Not through fighting the restlessness, through understanding what creates it and skillfully removing those conditions. The Buddha taught these methods because they work. 25 centuries of practitioners have used them to find relief from anxious, scattered minds. You can too. Right now, with the actual restlessness and worry you're experiencing. The water settles when the wind stops. The mind settles when the causes of disturbance are removed. But there's a 5th bowl, one more obstacle. This one isn't dyed or heated or covered or wind disturbed. This one has been stirred up. The water is murky, clouded, full of sediment, churned from the bottom. The 5th hindrance is doubt, and it's the most paralyzing of all. Because when you doubt, you can't move forward. You can't commit to anything. You can't trust your own experience. The water is so murky you can't see anything clearly, not even whether the other hindrances are present. Everything becomes questionable. And that doubt has its own specific nature and its own specific remedies. The 5th bowl sits at the end of the row. This one has no dye coloring it, no heat boiling it, no moss covering it, no wind disturbing it. But someone has stirred it violently. Sediment from the bottom swirls through the water. Mud clouds everything. The whole bowl is murky, opaque, impossible to see through. You can't see your reflection at all. You can't even tell if the water is clear or colored underneath all that churning sediment. Everything is questionable. This is the 5th hindrance, doubt. And it's the most paralyzing of all the obstacles. When you doubt, you can't move. You stand at a crossroads, unable to choose a direction. You start something, then question whether it's worth doing. You have an insight, then immediately wonder if it's real. The doubt doesn't just question one thing, it questions everything. You sit down to practice meditation, and doubt whispers, "Is this even working?" You feel a moment of peace, and doubt asks, "Is this real, or am I just fooling myself?" You understand something clearly, and doubt says, "But what if you're wrong?" The murky water makes it impossible to see what's true. This isn't the same as healthy questioning. Healthy questioning investigates to find truth. Doubt just spins without arriving anywhere. Healthy questioning asks, "Does this teaching work?" Then tests it and discovers the answer. Doubt asks, "Does this work?" Then, before testing it, asks, "But how do I know if my test is valid?" And before answering that, asks, "But can I trust my own judgment?" And on, deeper into the murk. The Buddha identified 3 specific kinds of doubt that paralyze people on the path to peace. The first is doubt about whether peace is actually possible. You hear the teachings about removing suffering, about finding lasting calm, and part of you thinks, that sounds nice, but is it real? Can human beings actually experience that? Or is this just a beautiful idea that doesn't work in practice? This doubt prevents you from even trying. Why invest effort in something that might not be real? Why practice if peace is just a fantasy? So you don't practice. And because you don't practice, you never find out if it's real. The doubt confirms itself. The second kind of doubt is about whether the path actually works. Maybe you believe peace is possible for someone, somewhere, but you doubt whether these specific teachings lead there. Are the 5 hindrances really the problem? Will removing them actually bring peace? Or is this just one perspective among many, possibly missing the real issue? This doubt makes you constantly shop for better teachings. You read one thing, doubt it, move to another thing, doubt that too. You never stick with anything long enough to see if it works. And because you never commit, you never get results, which makes you doubt even more. The third kind of doubt is about whether anyone has actually succeeded. You might believe peace is possible and that these teachings point toward it, but you doubt whether anyone has actually gotten there. Did the Buddha really find what he claimed? Have any of his students genuinely freed themselves from suffering? Or are these just stories, exaggerations, myths built up over time? This doubt isolates you. You feel like you're attempting something that maybe no one has ever actually accomplished. The path seems impossible because you doubt anyone has walked it successfully. All 3 kinds of doubt create the same paralysis. You can't commit. You can't trust. You can't move forward with confidence. The water is too murky to see anything clearly. And here's what makes this hindrance particularly insidious. Doubt feels intelligent. When you're doubting, it feels like you're being reasonable, cautious, discerning. You're not being gullible. You're not blindly accepting things. You're thinking critically. But there's a difference between critical thinking and paralyzing doubt. Critical thinking tests and investigates. Doubt just circles endlessly. Critical thinking leads to conclusions. Doubt avoids them. Critical thinking moves you forward. Doubt keeps you stuck. The Buddha was very clear about this. He didn't say you should believe things without testing them. He said exactly the opposite. There's a famous teaching where people came to the Buddha confused because different teachers were saying contradictory things. They didn't know who to believe. The Buddha told them, don't believe something just because it's written in scripture. Don't believe it because a teacher says it. Don't believe it because it's traditional. Don't believe it because it sounds logical. Test it yourself. When you know for yourself that something leads to harm, reject it. When you know for yourself that something leads to benefit, accept it. This is the antidote to doubt. Direct testing, personal verification. You don't have to believe the Buddha when he says craving creates suffering. Look at your own experience. Does craving create suffering in your life? Yes or no? You don't have to take anyone's word that anger burns the person who holds it. Check for yourself. When you've been angry, who suffered? You don't have to trust ancient texts saying that restlessness prevents peace. Notice your own mind. Can you be at peace when your thoughts are racing? This kind of investigation dissolves doubt, not because you force yourself to believe, because you verify through direct experience. The murky water clears when you stop stirring it and let the sediment settle. Doubt clears when you stop spinning in questions and start testing. But there's something else the Buddha taught about doubt. He said it often comes from not understanding what you're actually doing. You practice meditation and doubt whether it's working because you're not clear about what meditation is supposed to do. You expect immediate dramatic results, and when they don't come, you doubt the practice. But meditation isn't magic. It's training attention, like training muscles. You wouldn't lift weights once and expect to be strong. You understand that strength builds gradually through consistent practice. Same with meditation. The ability to recognize hindrances, to shift attention skillfully, to rest in peace. These develop gradually. When you understand this, doubt has less grip. You're not looking for proof that it works after one session. You're engaged in a training process with clear, reasonable expectations. The Buddha also pointed to specific signs that show the path is working. Concrete markers you can observe. Do you notice hindrances more quickly than you used to? That's progress. You're becoming more aware. Do you recover from anger or worry faster than before? That's progress. The patterns are weakening. Do you experience moments of genuine ease that weren't there before? That's progress. Peace is becoming accessible. These aren't dramatic enlightenment experiences. They're simple, observable changes, and they're evidence the practice works. When you can point to actual changes in your experience, doubt loses its power. The water isn't so murky anymore. You can see something real happening. There's a specific level of confidence the Buddha described. He called it stream entry. It's the point where doubt about the path completely falls away. Not because you believe harder, because you've directly seen that it works. Someone who reaches this point has unshakable confidence, not blind faith, verified certainty. They've seen clearly that craving creates suffering. They've experienced directly that removing hindrances brings peace. They know from their own practice that the path leads where it claims to lead. This doesn't mean they're fully enlightened. It means they've seen enough to know the direction is right. Like someone hiking to a mountain peak. They haven't reached the summit yet, but they've climbed high enough to see the summit clearly, to know it exists, to be certain the trail leads there. No one can convince them the mountain doesn't exist. They've seen it. No one can make them doubt the path goes there. They've watched it lead upward with their own eyes. This kind of confidence is the opposite of doubt, and it comes from the same source, direct experience. The Buddha gave 4 consolations for someone practicing this way. 4 guarantees that make the practice worth doing even before you reach stream entry. First consolation: if there is another world after death, and your actions do have consequences, you'll fare well because you've lived skillfully. Second consolation: if there is no other world and actions have no consequences after death, at least you've lived at ease in this life, free from hostility and ill will. Third consolation: if harm comes to those who do harmful things, you're safe because you've done no harm. Fourth consolation: if harm doesn't come to those who do harmful things, you still see yourself pure in either case because you've acted with care. These consolations address doubt at its root. You might doubt whether karma is real, whether there's life after death, whether ethics matter ultimately. But even with all that doubt, the practice still makes sense. Living without craving, anger, delusion, restlessness, and doubt creates peace right now. Regardless of what happens after death, regardless of cosmic laws you can't verify, the benefit is immediate and observable. This life, this mind, this moment. When you see this clearly, one major source of doubt evaporates. You don't need to believe in rebirth or karma or enlightenment. You just need to notice. Does removing hindrances bring more peace? If yes, continue. The rest can remain uncertain. But there's another aspect of doubt that's important to understand. Doubt often hides fear. You say you doubt whether the practice works, but underneath might be fear that it will work. Because if it works, you'll have to change. You'll have to let go of comfortable patterns. You'll have to face things you've been avoiding. Doubt keeps you safe from that. If you're constantly questioning whether this is real, you never have to fully commit. You never have to actually change. This is doubt as protection, and it's very common. You might doubt whether you can really let go of a particular craving, but the doubt might be protecting you from the scariness of actually letting it go. You might doubt whether peace is possible for you, but the doubt might be protecting you from the responsibility of finding it. You might doubt whether you're doing the practice right, but the doubt might be protecting you from discovering you are doing it right and having to face what comes next. When you recognize doubt as protection, you can work with it differently. You're not arguing with the doubt anymore. You're acknowledging the fear underneath. Yes, this is scary. Yes, change is uncomfortable. Yes, letting go feels like loss. And you can be scared and still take one small step. You can be uncertain and still test something. You can have doubt and still practice. The doubt doesn't have to disappear before you begin. It often disappears because you began. Think about learning to swim. Almost everyone doubts they can float at first. The water will swallow me. The doubt says, I'll sink. But you test it anyway. You get in the water, you lean back, and you discover the water holds you. Your body floats. The doubt wasn't resolved through thinking. It was resolved through testing. Same with the doubt about peace. You can't think your way out of it. You test your way out of it. One small experiment. Can I notice when craving arises? Yes, I can. Doubt about awareness decreases. Another experiment. When I see craving clearly without feeding it, does it intensify or fade? It fades. Doubt about the method decreases. Another. When craving fades, is there more peace or less? More. Doubt about the goal decreases. Each small verification clears the murky water a little. Each test settles the sediment. Eventually, the water becomes clear enough to see your reflection. Not perfectly, not all at once, but clearly enough to trust what you're seeing. The Buddha said something important about faith in this context. He didn't mean blind belief. He meant confidence based on partial verification. You've tested enough to know the direction is right, even though you haven't arrived at the destination. You've experienced enough benefit to trust continued practice will bring more. This kind of faith is reasonable. It's based on evidence. It's verifiable confidence. Different from doubt, which questions without testing. Different from blind faith, which believes without evidence. This is faith earned through practice, confidence built on direct experience. And this kind of faith doesn't prevent questioning. It just prevents paralyzing doubt. You can have confidence the path works, and still investigate your experience carefully. You can trust the teachings and still test them thoroughly. You can believe peace is possible and still honestly assess whether what you're doing is bringing you closer to it. That's not doubt. That's wisdom. There's also doubt that comes from comparing yourself to others. You hear about someone who practiced for 6 months and had a breakthrough. You've been practicing for a year and don't feel dramatically different. Doubt arises. Maybe this doesn't work for me. But people's paths are different. Their hindrances are different. Their pace is different. Someone whose main hindrance is craving might find relief quickly by seeing desire clearly. Someone whose main hindrance is torpor might need to work with energy for months before seeing progress. Comparing your path to someone else's is like comparing your fingerprint to theirs. They're different. That doesn't mean yours is wrong. The question isn't, am I progressing as fast as that person? The question is, am I seeing changes in my own experience? Am I suffering less than I was? Am I catching hindrances more quickly? Am I finding moments of ease that weren't there before? If yes, the practice is working. At your pace, in your way. The Buddha used different images for different students. Some people are like land that receives rain and immediately produces crops. Others are like land that receives rain and produces crops in the next season. Both are fertile. Both will yield results, just at different times. Doubt about your own capacity often comes from expecting immediate results. When you understand the practice is cumulative, the doubt has less grip. You're not trying to have a breakthrough today. You're training your mind gradually, building capacity over time. Every moment you notice a hindrance, you're training. Every time you apply a remedy, you're strengthening that skill. Every instance of seeing clearly, even briefly, is progress. These small moments accumulate. They compound. They lead somewhere. But you have to trust the process enough to continue. And that trust comes from noticing the small changes. The water in the 5th bowl has been stirred, but it will settle. Sediment only stays suspended if you keep stirring. Stop stirring, and gravity does the rest. The particles settle. The water clears. Doubt is the stirring, endless questioning without testing. Constant second-guessing without verification. The antidote is letting the questions settle into actual investigation. Does this work? Test it. Find out. Is peace possible? Practice. See for yourself. Has anyone succeeded? Look at the teachings they left. Test whether following them brings benefit. Each question can be answered, not through thinking, through doing. And when you do this, when you shift from doubting to testing, something happens. The murky water begins to clear, not perfectly, not all at once, but enough to see your reflection. Enough to recognize what's true, enough to move forward with confidence. Right now, notice if doubt is present. Are you questioning whether this practice works? Whether peace is possible? Whether you're capable? Just notice. That's the first step. Then ask, what's one thing I can test? Not believe. Not accept on faith. Test. Maybe it's, can I notice when craving arises? Try it for one day. See what you discover. Maybe it's, when I shift attention from worry to breath, does restlessness increase or decrease? Test it next time you're worried. Observe what happens. Maybe it's, if I practice metta towards someone who hurt me, does my anger intensify or cool? Try it. Notice the result. One test, one small experiment, one piece of direct evidence. That's how the murky water clears. Not through thinking about whether it can clear, through letting it settle by stopping the stirring. The fifth bowl of water can become transparent. The sediment can settle completely. You can see your own reflection clearly. Not through forcing yourself to believe, through testing, verifying, seeing for yourself. The Buddha taught these 5 hindrances with precision. Each has a specific nature. Each has specific remedies. And when all 5 are removed, even temporarily, something profound happens. The 5 bowls of water all become clear. Each one reflects your face perfectly. You can see who you actually are without the distortions. That seeing is peace. Not peace as an idea, peace as direct experience. And it's available right now through understanding and removing what blocks it. The hindrances are removable. The water can clear. The peace you're seeking is already here, waiting to be revealed. You now know the 5 obstacles. You can recognize them when they appear. You understand what each one does to your mind. But knowing the obstacles isn't enough. You need to know how to remove them. The Buddha taught 7 specific ways that defilements are removed from the mind. 7 methods that work together to clear the water in all 5 bowls. These aren't 7 different practices you do separately. They're 7 aspects of one coherent path. 7 ways that purification happens naturally when you practice correctly. The first way is by seeing. Some defilements are removed simply through clear seeing, through understanding what's actually happening. This is called wise attention. You look at something accurately, instead of through the distortions of craving, aversion, or confusion. For instance, you have a wrong view about where happiness comes from. You believe that acquiring things will make you permanently satisfied. This wrong view drives endless craving. Then you look closely at your actual experience. You notice that every time you get something you wanted, the satisfaction lasts a short time, and craving returns. You see this pattern clearly, repeatedly, undeniably. The wrong view can't survive that seeing. Not because you force yourself to believe differently, because you've seen directly that the view doesn't match reality. The defilement of wrong view is removed by seeing. Same with the view that you are your thoughts. You believe, I am this anxious person, because anxious thoughts keep arising. Then you practice observing thoughts. You watch them appear and disappear. You notice they come and go, whether you want them to or not. You see clearly. These thoughts arise and pass, but there's an awareness that remains constant. You're not your thoughts. You're the awareness in which thoughts appear. That seeing changes everything. The identification with anxious thoughts weakens. They still arise, but you're not caught in them the same way. The defilement of wrong identification is removed by seeing. This is powerful because you don't have to fight the defilement. You don't have to struggle against it or suppress it. You just see clearly, and the seeing itself does the work. The second way is by guarding. You've already learned about this with the first hindrance. Guarding the sense doors. Not letting the mind grasp at pleasant experiences or elaborate on them. But guarding is bigger than just working with craving. It's a whole way of relating to your experience. You're aware of what's coming through your senses. You notice when the mind starts to grasp or push away, and you guard against that automatic reactivity. Not by shutting down your senses, by staying aware of the grasping when it happens. You see something beautiful, and the mind wants to possess it. You guard by noticing the wanting without acting on it. You see something unpleasant, and the mind wants to reject it. You guard by noticing the aversion without feeding it. You hear criticism, and anger starts to arise. You guard by catching the anger early, before it builds into rage. This guarding prevents defilements from entering and taking root. Like closing windows before a storm. The storm comes, but it doesn't get inside your house. Certain defilements are removed by guarding, specifically the ones that would arise from unguarded sense contact. The third way is by using wisely. The Buddha was specific about this. There are 4 things human beings need: food, clothing, shelter, and medicine. The way you relate to these necessities either creates defilements or removes them. You can use food with craving, eating for pleasure, for comfort, for distraction, always wanting more, better, different. Or you can use food wisely, eating to maintain the body's health, appreciating nourishment without grasping at pleasure, eating enough, not too much. When you use food wisely, the craving around eating diminishes. The defilement is removed through wise use. Same with clothing. You can dress to impress, to attract attention, to feel superior. Or you can dress for protection and appropriateness. Same with shelter. You can constantly want a bigger house, nicer furniture, more impressive surroundings. Or you can appreciate shelter as protection from the elements. Same with medicine. You can take it wisely when needed for genuine health. Or you can use substances to escape discomfort, chase pleasure, alter your state. Every time you use something wisely instead of with craving, you weaken the defilement of desire. Every time you choose simplicity over excess, you remove attachment. This isn't about deprivation. It's about understanding the difference between need and want, between using things skillfully and being used by craving. The fourth way is by enduring. Some discomfort can't be avoided. It's part of having a body, living in the world. Heat and cold, hunger and thirst, physical pain from illness or injury, the natural aging of the body. You can meet these with aversion, constantly wishing they were different, or you can endure them with equanimity. Enduring doesn't mean suffering silently. It means not adding mental suffering to physical discomfort. Your knee hurts. That's a physical sensation. Unpleasant, but just a sensation. Then your mind adds, "This shouldn't be happening. Why me? This is terrible. It will never end. My whole day is ruined." That's mental suffering added to physical pain. And it's optional. Enduring means feeling the knee pain without the mental story. Just the sensation itself. Unpleasant, yes, but not a catastrophe. When you endure unavoidable discomfort this way, you remove the defilement of aversion. You stop fighting reality. You develop equanimity with what can't be changed. This practice is crucial because life includes unavoidable pain. If you can't endure it skillfully, you'll be at war with reality constantly. But when you learn to endure without aversion, a particular kind of strength develops. Not toughness that suppresses feeling, stability that can hold discomfort without collapsing. The fifth way is by avoiding. This sounds simple, but it requires wisdom to know what to avoid. Some things are dangerous. Some situations reliably trigger harmful states. Some people bring out the worst in you. Wisdom sees this clearly and avoids accordingly. The Buddha used the image of someone seeing a dangerous snake on the path. A wise person doesn't pick it up, doesn't try to tame it, just walks around it. You do the same with situations that trigger defilements. Maybe certain conversations always end in anger. You've tried engaging differently, but the pattern persists. Wisdom says, avoid these conversations when possible. Maybe scrolling social media late at night reliably creates comparison and dissatisfaction. You've noticed this repeatedly. Wisdom says, stop scrolling at night. Maybe being around a particular person always triggers insecurity. You've worked on it, but the pattern is strong. Wisdom says, limit contact when you can. This isn't about running from everything difficult. It's about recognizing what serves your practice and what undermines it. Some difficulties you need to face. They're part of your work. Avoiding them would be escape. But some difficulties are just harmful. They don't teach you anything. They just create suffering. Those you avoid. Certain defilements are removed by avoiding the conditions that create them. You don't fight the defilement once it arises. You prevent it from arising by avoiding its triggers. The sixth way is by removing. This is active work with defilements that have already arisen. You notice craving present. You apply one of the methods you've learned. You replace it with wholesome attention, or examine its danger, or guard against elaborating on it. The craving is removed through your active engagement with it. You notice anger burning. You apply metta practice. You focus on the kind words or kind actions of the person, even if they're small. The anger is removed through your deliberate cultivation of goodwill. You notice torpor settling in. You stand up, wash your face with cold water, step outside into bright light. The torpor is removed through your skillful engagement with the body. This way of removing requires effort. It requires knowing the specific remedies for specific hindrances. It requires actually applying them when hindrances arise. But it works. When you actively remove a hindrance that's present, you train your mind in a specific skill. That skill strengthens with practice. The first time you try to remove anger with metta, it might feel impossible. The anger might stay strong. The 10th time, it's a little easier. The anger softens a bit faster. The 100th time, the pattern is well established. You notice anger arising. Apply metta almost automatically, and the anger dissolves quickly. Defilements are removed through this kind of repeated, skillful engagement. The 7th way is by developing. This refers specifically to developing the 7 factors of awakening, the factors you learned about with the 3rd hindrance: mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, equanimity. When these 7 factors are fully developed, they remove all remaining defilements, not by fighting them, by creating conditions where defilements can't survive. Think of it like this. Mold grows in darkness and dampness. You can scrape off individual patches of mold, but it keeps returning if the conditions remain. Or you can change the conditions, bring in light, reduce moisture, create an environment where mold can't grow. The 7 factors create an environment where defilements can't take root. When mindfulness is strong, you catch defilements the moment they arise. They don't have time to build. When investigation is active, you see through the tricks of craving and aversion. They lose their power. When energy is present, torpor can't establish itself. The mind stays bright and engaged. When joy is available, you don't need to chase pleasure. Craving weakens. When tranquility is established, restlessness can't disturb you. The mind rests naturally. When concentration is developed, the mind can focus steadily. It's not pulled by every passing distraction. When equanimity is mature, you can hold all experience with balance. Pleasant and unpleasant both arise and pass without throwing you off center. These 7 factors, when fully developed, remove defilements at their root, not just temporarily, permanently. This is the highest form of removal, and it comes through dedicated practice. These 7 ways work together. You don't choose just one. Some defilements you remove by seeing them clearly, others by guarding against them, others by using necessities wisely, others by enduring unavoidable discomfort, others by avoiding their triggers, others by actively applying remedies, and all of them, ultimately, by developing the 7 factors. Your practice includes all 7 ways. On any given day, you might guard your senses when you're out in the world. Use food wisely at meals. Endure physical discomfort from sitting too long at work. Avoid a conversation you know will trigger anger. Remove restlessness when it arises by shifting attention to breath. See clearly how a particular craving creates suffering, and develop mindfulness through all of it. 7 ways, 1 practice, continuous purification. But here's what's important to understand. This isn't instantaneous. The Buddha was very clear about the gradual nature of the path. You don't remove all defilements at once. You don't wake up one morning with perfect peace that never wavers. The path is gradual, like the ocean that slopes gently, with no sudden drops. The Buddha used another image. He talked about training in higher virtue, higher mind, and higher wisdom. First, you establish basic ethical conduct. You stop causing obvious harm. You practice basic kindness and restraint. This creates a foundation. Your mind isn't constantly agitated by guilt or regret about harmful actions. You can begin to practice more subtle work. Then you train the mind. You develop concentration. You strengthen mindfulness. You learn to work with hindrances. This creates stability. Your mind can focus when you want it to. You can observe your experience clearly. Then wisdom develops. You see how things actually work. You understand impermanence, cause and effect, the nature of suffering. And that wisdom removes defilements at a deeper level than willpower ever could. This progression takes time, months, years, sometimes decades. But every step brings benefit. You don't have to wait until the end to experience peace. From the very beginning, when you first start noticing hindrances, life gets a little easier. You suffer a bit less. You're not as caught by your reactive patterns. As you continue practicing, the benefits deepen. Hindrances arise less frequently. When they do arise, you recognize them faster. You remove them more skillfully. Your baseline state becomes calmer, peace isn't just something you experience during meditation. It starts showing up in your daily life. You're in a stressful situation, and you notice, I'm not as thrown by this as I would have been before. Someone criticizes you, and you feel the sting, but don't spiral into anger or self-doubt. A craving arises, and you see it clearly without being controlled by it. These small shifts are the path working, and they accumulate week by week, month by month. The hindrances have less grip. The water in the 5 bowls becomes gradually clearer. The Buddha describes specific levels of attainment on this path, markers that show how far you've progressed. But these aren't the focus. The focus is simply, am I suffering less today than I was last year? Am I caught by hindrances less often? Do I have more moments of genuine ease? If yes, you're on the path. Keep practicing. If not, investigate. Are you actually practicing or just thinking about practice? Are you applying the remedies when hindrances arise? Are you using all 7 ways of removing defilements? The path is reliable. It works for everyone who actually walks it. But you have to walk it. Understanding the teachings intellectually isn't enough. You have to put them into practice. That means when craving arises, you actually guard your senses instead of just knowing you should. That means when anger burns, you actually apply metta instead of just understanding the concept. That means when torpor settles in, you actually stand up and wash your face instead of just sitting there thinking about how you should move. The doing is what matters. The actual engagement with your experience, moment by moment, using the tools you've learned. And when you do this consistently, something shifts. The hindrances that once seemed permanent start to feel optional. Craving arises, but it doesn't control you. Anger flares, but it doesn't consume you. Torpor descends, but you know how to work with it. Restlessness spins, but you can calm it. Doubt whispers, but you have confidence from direct experience. You're not fighting your mind anymore. You're understanding it, working with it skillfully. And that understanding creates a kind of freedom you can feel. Not freedom from ever experiencing difficult states, freedom from being owned by them. The Buddha promised something specific. He said, if you practice this way, you will reach a point where the 5 hindrances are completely abandoned. Not suppressed, not managed, abandoned. Craving for sense pleasures doesn't arise. Ill will doesn't arise. Sloth and torpor don't arise. Restlessness and worry don't arise. Doubt doesn't arise. The water in all 5 bowls is perfectly clear. Your reflection is undistorted. You can see reality as it actually is. And in that clarity, there's profound peace. Not the peace of getting everything you want, the peace of not being disturbed by what arises and passes. Pleasant experiences come and go. You enjoy them without grasping. unpleasant experiences come and go. You endure them without aversion. Neutral experiences come and go. You're aware of them without boredom. And throughout all of it, there's equanimity, balance, clarity, peace. This isn't a fantasy. This is what the Buddha taught is possible for human beings. And the path is these 7 ways of removing defilements, practiced gradually, consistently, with patience and dedication. You're already on this path. You've been learning it throughout these hours. Every time you've noticed a hindrance, you've practiced mindfulness. Every time you've understood how a hindrance works, you've removed defilements by seeing. Every time you've tried one of the remedies, you've removed defilements by active engagement. The path isn't somewhere else. It's right here, in this moment, in your actual experience. And you can continue walking it. Today, tomorrow, every day. Not perfectly, not without setbacks, but steadily, using the 7 ways, removing what blocks peace, clearing the water gradually, until one day you look into the 5 bowls and see your reflection clearly in all of them. And you recognize, this is what I've been seeking, this clarity, this peace, this freedom. It was always here, just hidden by the obstacles. And now, through understanding and practice, the obstacles are removed. The peace you're seeking isn't far away. It's not in some distant future after years of perfect practice. It's available in every moment that you're not caught by a hindrance. Every moment of clarity, every moment of ease. And those moments grow. They expand. They become your life. Through the 7 ways of removing what blocks peace, practiced with patience and care over time. The 5 bowls sit in front of you. The first one, once clouded with dye, is clear now. You can see through it. The constant reaching has quieted. The second one, once boiling violently, has cooled. The surface is calm. The anger that burned so hot has released its grip. The third one, once covered with moss, is open to light. The heaviness has lifted. Energy flows naturally again. The fourth one, once rippled by wind, is still. The restless thoughts have settled. The mind can rest. The fifth one, once murky with sediment, is transparent. The doubt has cleared. You can see what's true. And in all 5 bowls, you see your reflection clearly. Not perfectly, not forever without disturbance, but clearly enough to recognize yourself. This is what the Buddha taught is possible, not the elimination of all difficulty, the clarity to meet life without being controlled by reactive patterns. The obstacles don't disappear permanently all at once. They fade gradually, as you practice the 7 ways of removing them. And each time they fade, peace is what remains. Not peace you have to create, peace that was always there, just hidden. Tonight, as you rest, may these teachings settle in your mind. May you know the obstacles by name. May you recognize them when they arise. May you practice the methods that remove them. And may you discover the peace that's already here, waiting beneath the surface. May you be free from obstacles. May you know the peace you're seeking.